Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at CatholicMindsetCoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey guys, I got really excited reading the reflection for today, and I stopped myself because I just wanted to be in the moment even more than I normally am as I'm reading this year. Usually I try to read it ahead of time and then try to develop a coherent thought and then start, although usually it goes on a different tangent. But this is so good. So it's from A Day at a Time, the reading for January 3rd. My addiction is threefold in that it affects me physically, mentally, and spiritually. As a person with a substance use disorder, I was totally out of touch, not only with myself, but with reality. Day after miserable day, like a caged animal on a treadmill, I repeated my self-destructive pattern of living. Have I begun to break away from my old ideas? Just for today, can I adjust myself to what is, rather than try to adjust everything to my own desires? Today I pray. I pray that I may not be caught up again in the downward destructive spiral that removed me from myself and from the realities of the world around me. I pray that I may adjust to people and situations as they are instead of always trying unsuccessfully and with endless frustration to bend them down to my own desires. Today I will remember I can only change myself. So, I love this and hate this at the same time because I didn't realize how badly I want to change other people to make me feel better. Like when someone's being mean, if I perceive what they're doing to be mean, I think they should stop doing that mean thing. But something that has just blown me away is that coming to understand that the purpose of program, yes, maybe it is you got to learn to advocate for yourself and stand up and say, like, that is not appropriate, or I do not care for you to speak that way to me. Like, there is something to that. But then they can still choose to treat you that way and speak to you like that anyway. And then what do? That was really where the rubber hit the road for me. But first I couldn't even do that, and I had to learn how to speak up. But then I was just like flabbergasted. I was like, but I did what I was supposed to do. I asked, and I asked nicely. And the thing is that I'm only in charge of how I respond to what they do. That is the only thing I can control, even though it doesn't even feel like I can control that sometimes. But the further away I get from my disease, the more ownership I get of my own, emotions and feelings and actions. Anyway, I wanted to comment on the beginning. So my addiction is threefold. It's physical, it's mental, and it's spiritual. And I have this idea that the mental realm is really like where the physical and spiritual collide. It's like a Venn diagram in my head. That's how I think of it. So you have the physical world, the mental world, and the spiritual world. And just like a three-legged stool, if one leg isn't pulling its weight, if they aren't equally loaded and burdened, then, things get wobbly and we fall down, right? And as a person with a substance use disorder, I was totally out of touch, not only with myself, but with reality. And yesterday we talked about the great reality as being our higher power. And I think there's something really beautiful and fitting because I pick these at random, these readings, I really do. Um, that we're now talking about just reality itself. And yesterday we were talking about the great reality. And I think that there's something really key there. And it might not come out right, but I want to try. So I'm thinking that my disease, like even in the insanity of what we do, right? You keep choosing the same thing, expecting a different result. That is insanity, correct? That's what we've been told. And insanity is just disconnect with the reality of what is. And I think about this a lot. I have my blog, Grateful Blessed Mess, and a few months ago I did a post on the reality of what is, because I've come to realize how much I just reject what is, and that is acceptance, right? Acceptance is saying, yes, this is what is happening. And that is like the basement of humility and the ability to admit we're powerless over whatever substance it is. And this is all wrapped together in reality. And so it's kind of cool, the thought of praying to the great reality. It's like that is truth. What is truth. I am praying to truth because that is reality. That is what is. That is to be. Is it that is. Am I making sense? Probably not. But I think there's something just incredibly spiritual about reality. And I've heard mental illness described as well, mental wellness, I guess I should say, is that the degree to which one's mind is in congruence with reality. And I think that's really fascinating because I can say that my disease, the insanity and the pain of what I was doing, came from this idea that I could still do what I was doing and not get what I was getting. And so that is me not being incongruent, is me not being congruent with reality. And I just think that's so fascinating. So there's something about reality being truth, being almost like that's what our higher power is. Our higher power is the great reality. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Hopefully it's making sense, or at least making your head hurt a little bit, like with wheels turning, hopefully. I could go on and on, but I think I'll just end up being redundant. So I'm going to move on, but at 417, there's the acceptance prayer in the big book. And maybe we can all just pray for acceptance today, acceptance of what is. And if you're in your disease, accepting that you are struggling today, that is where you are that is where you are at, that you are in pain, that you need help from other people because you cannot do this alone. And that is okay. That is absolutely okay. And once you can get to that acceptance, you will get well. That is just part of the program. That is part of how it works. And so maybe you're in a place where you're having trouble accepting, persons, places, or things around you that are frustrating, that are causing you to be restless, irritable, or discontented. And that's okay too. I'm coming to learn that is my higher power's way of tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, this is a chance for you and me to get closer." It's not that I don't think that he puts this on us because he's like, "Hey, I missed you. I wanted you to call. I let this bad thing happen." I don't think that. I think it's that we live in a world that is messy, and inevitably the messiness affects us, eventually we're just going to rub up against each other. And so it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's a matter of when we get to be gifted with a messy opportunity to grow closer to our higher power. And that has also been kind of a really interesting shift in my mind of when I can to try to think of something that's really hard, really painful, or just makes me grit my teeth is usually not in the moment, but afterwards, just kind of locking my mind onto this belief that I can't see it, but I know that this is actually working to keep me sober because it is strengthening my relationship with my higher power. So that's all I'm going to say for today. Just remember what it says at the end here today. I will remember I can only change myself. And that's not a reason to throw up our hands in despair. That is our call to action. That can be our anthem, because that also means I'm not dependent on anybody else to be happy or to be whole or to be well, not on what anyone else chooses to do or not do to me. I get to control that. And that is a massive gift. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.